Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a Canadian small business owner, a tradesperson, or a busy consultant, I'm willing to bet you're carrying a massive amount of operational detail right around in your head. It's exhausting, right? Well, today, we're going to unpack exactly how to stop relying on your memory and start building simple, highly practical routines that actually work for your business. Before we really get into the weeds, just a quick reminder on where we are. The Built to Thrive system has three layers: awareness, practice, and maturity. We are operating within the operations and systems domain today, specifically looking at how to build repeatable routines. So we're focusing squarely on the practice layer. All right, let's get to it. Now, I know when a lot of us hear the word workflow, we immediately kind of panic. You're probably picturing, complex process mapping software or some bloated corporate manual. Well, scratch that. We are definitely not doing that. For a small business, a workflow is simply a clear, calm view of how repeated work moves from start to finish. That's it. It just makes work easier to follow without depending on assumptions or having to repeat yourself 100 times. And that brings us to the absolutely crucial question. Every single good workflow you create needs to answer this one thing. How should this work move from start to finish without depending only on memory? I mean, think about it. If your work is stalling, or if you're sitting in your truck typing out the exact same text message to a contractor for literally the fifth time this week, your memory is the bottleneck. So let's fix that. Okay, so how do we actually do this? We're going to walk through 6 exact steps to build a functional everyday workflow that your people can actually follow. Step 1. Choose one repeated area of work. Step 2, name the start and finish. Step 3, write the real steps. Step 4, look for weak spots. Step 5, add only the support the workflow needs. And Step 6, test the workflow in real work. Let's break these down. Starting with Step 1, choose one repeated area of work. Please, whatever you do, do not try to map out your entire business at once. That's just a one-way ticket to completely overwhelming yourself. Instead, just choose one specific repeated area where things tend to slow down. Maybe it's moving from a new customer inquiry to booked work, or taking a discovery call all the way to an approved proposal, or getting from client intake to a complete file. Just pick one single area that's causing you daily friction. Moving on to Step 2, name the start and finish. Look, every workflow needs a hard boundary. You have to define exactly what triggers the beginning and what marks the absolute end. So for a customer inquiry, it starts the second someone calls, emails, messages, or fills out a form. For a job closeout, it starts when the physical work is done, sure, but it doesn't end until the notes, photos, and the invoice are fully completed. Defining these boundaries is what stops scope creep in its tracks. Next up is Step 3, and this is where you write the real steps. And the key word here is real. I want you to write out how the work actually happens today in just plain everyday language, not the idealized perfect version you kind of wish was happening, just the reality. Like a customer asks for a quote, you collect details, prep the quote, send it, add a follow-up date, get a response, and finally schedule the job or close the quote. Keep it that simple and completely honest. All right, Step 4 is where we look for weak spots. Where does this workflow actually break down in real life? Are files scattered everywhere? Is responsibility unclear? Is the work constantly just waiting for your approval? Once you spot that break, you slide right into Step 5. Add only the support the workflow needs. Please do not build a massive procedure for this. Just add the smallest possible fix. Honestly, maybe it's just a simple follow-up date, a file naming rule, or a quick weekly review habit. Fix the specific gap and leave the rest alone. And finally, Step 6 is to test the workflow out in real work. Put it into action a couple of times before you even try to optimize it. As you use it, ask yourself some honest questions. Did it actually prevent a misstep? Did it reduce those annoying repeated questions from your team? And most importantly, was it simple enough that you'll actually keep using it when things get busy? I really want to pause here for a second, because perfection is totally the enemy of progress. So what does good enough actually look like? Well, you're done when you've clarified one repeated area, clearly defined the start and finish, listed the main steps in plain English, found where it usually gets stuck, and added just 1 or 2 simple supports. If it's simple enough to use in real life, then guess what? It is ready to go. I absolutely want you to take this to heart. You do not need a full operating manual. You need one repeated area of work to move more clearly. That's the whole ballgame. Your goal here is just to relieve the mental burden on yourself and your team by creating a reliable system, not some rigid set of rules that no one's ever going to look at. Now, to help you apply this literally right away, you can use the matching tool for this practice layer, which is the Simple Workflow Builder. It just requires a free account, and it's fantastic. It guides you directly through the exact steps we just covered, taking your repeated tasks and turning them into a clear format that absolutely anyone on your team can understand and follow. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question. What is the one critical task in your business today that would completely fall apart if you suddenly lost your memory? Seriously, think about it. Identify that task, run it through these 6 steps, and get it out of your head forever. Once you've done that, you're going to be perfectly positioned for our next guide, Build Checklists for Recurring Work. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.